Have you ever paused to think about how, in the vastness of the universe, our lives are nothing more than a small blip in time, yet each moment we experience holds an entire universe of emotions, choices, and connections? Too often we get caught up in the rush of daily life, chasing deadlines, seeking approval, and striving for material success. In this constant hustle, we sometimes forget what truly matters: the relationships we build, the love we share, and the impact we leave on the people around us. This video is about the extraordinary power of human connection, about how even the simplest act of kindness, a genuine smile, or a heartfelt conversation, can create ripples far beyond what we can imagine. Today, let's explore how Stoic wisdom can guide us in overcoming shyness, expanding social opportunities, building trust, developing social skills, and nurturing authentic relationships in a constantly changing world. Shyness is something many people struggle with, but it is not a weakness. In fact, it is simply part of your journey of self-discovery. The Stoics teach us that what matters most is not what happens to us, but how we respond. Epictetus reminded us that anxiety about the past or fear of the future only distracts us from the present. If you are shy, focus instead on being authentic in the here and now. By practicing empathy and remembering that everyone around us carries their own struggles and insecurities, we can shift our focus away from self-doubt and toward genuine connection. As Aristotle once said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. The first step, then, is to embrace yourself fully, including your shyness, and to have the courage to engage with others in an honest way. A practical way to break free from isolation is through volunteering and service. Marcus Aurelius advised us to surround ourselves with those who uplift us. And what better way to find such people than by working together for a good cause? Volunteering at community events, joining local initiatives, or supporting charity projects not only gives us purpose, but also connects us with like-minded individuals who share our values. These shared experiences naturally create bonds and friendships. Similarly, investing in personal development, whether through professional workshops, seminars, or group activities, can be another doorway to connection. You improve your skills while also meeting people who share your goals and ambitions. And of course, the outdoors provides a relaxed environment where friendships can flourish. Hiking, cycling, or simply walking in nature allows us to connect without pressure, surrounded by beauty and calm. Even online communities can lead to meaningful real-life friendships when approached with sincerity and openness. But building connections goes deeper than just opportunities. It is about trust. Marcus Aurelius said, "Look within. Within is the fountain of good." By first reflecting on your own values and being clear about what matters most to you, you will find it easier to identify honesty, integrity, and kindness in others. Aristotle reminded us that man at his best is the noblest of all animals, and such virtues are the foundation of trust. Still, as Epictetus noted, some things are within our control, and others are not. People's actions may not always meet our expectations. This is why Stoicism emphasizes emotional balance. Plato taught that human behavior flows from desire, emotion, and knowledge. If we let emotions cloud our judgment, we may misplace our trust. But if we cultivate clarity and self-control, we can approach relationships with wisdom rather than fear. Developing social skills is not about becoming someone you're not. It's about gradual progress, one small step at a time. Marcus Aurelius urged us to live each day fully, without frenzy or pretense. Similarly, Aristotle's idea of virtue as the golden mean teaches us to avoid extremes. The balance of empathy, kindness, and authenticity is what makes interactions meaningful. Ask questions, show genuine curiosity, and take a humble approach. Socrates himself admitted, "I know that I know nothing." This humility is a key to deeper conversations. And when awkward moments happen, and they always do, remember Plato's words. Courage is knowing what not to fear. Awkwardness is not failure. It's part of being human and an opportunity to grow stronger socially. Life, however, is always changing. Friendships shift as we move through different stages of our journey, and Stoicism reminds us to accept change rather than resist it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." Epictetus encouraged us to rejoice in what we have instead of grieving what we've lost. During times of transition, whether starting a new job, moving to a new city, or shifting priorities, Stoicism calls us to reflect on our values and use change as an opportunity for growth. Seek new opportunities to connect, attend events, join groups, and embrace new beginnings with courage. At the same time, Stoicism reminds us to focus on the quality of our relationships, not their quantity. Marcus Aurelius advised us to keep company only with those who bring out the best in us. Aristotle reminded us that quality is not an act, it is a habit. This means that as our priorities shift, we should choose to nurture fewer but deeper connections that align with our growth. Plato's reminder that, at the touch of love, everyone becomes a poet, highlights the beauty of cherishing relationships that truly matter, even if they are few. Finally, Stoicism ties the strength of our social connections to our mental well-being. Marcus Aurelius observed that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. A calm and resilient mind creates a fertile ground for healthy relationships. Seneca warned that we often suffer more in imagination than in reality, and this is especially true in social life. By practicing mindfulness, meditation, and resilience, we learn to separate fear from fact. When we nurture our mental health, we are able to show up authentically for others. In conclusion, Stoicism is not just about enduring hardship, it's about thriving through it. By embracing who we are, seeking meaningful opportunities, cultivating trust, developing balanced social skills, and adapting to change, we create relationships that enrich our lives. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what is within our control, our actions, our reactions, and our authenticity, and to let go of the rest. When we do, we build connections not only rooted in wisdom, but also in love, empathy, and shared humanity. As we close, let's remember the words of Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. With that strength, we can build lives filled with meaningful, lasting connections. Have you ever wondered why some people remain calm in the middle of chaos, while others collapse under the weight of life's challenges? Why do some individuals seem to walk through storms with an unshakable peace, while others get swept away by even the smallest difficulties? The answer lies not in luck, wealth, or privilege, but in mindset, in the ancient philosophy of Stoicism. Stoicism is more than just old wisdom from distant times. It is a practical guide to mastering your mind, controlling your emotions, and living a life of meaning and resilience. In this ultimate Stoic guide to life, we will explore the timeless teachings of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, and other Stoic thinkers, and discover how their wisdom can transform the way we live, love, and face the world today. At its core, Stoicism is about understanding what is within our control and what is not. Epictetus, once a slave who rose to become a great teacher, often reminded his students, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not." These few words carry profound power. Imagine how much suffering comes from trying to control things that lie outside our reach. Other people's opinions, external circumstances, or the past itself. When we obsess over what we cannot control, we drain ourselves of peace. But when we focus instead on what we can control, our thoughts, our actions, our choices, we discover a sense of freedom that nothing in the outside world can take away. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, lived in the chaos of war, political struggles, and personal loss. Yet in his private journal, later known as Meditations, he constantly reminded himself to keep calm and stay true to virtue. His words echo across time. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This realization is the foundation of Stoicism. The strength of your life is not determined by what happens to you, but by how you respond. One of the greatest lessons Stoicism offers is resilience, the ability to endure difficulties without being broken by them. Seneca, one of Rome's most famous Stoic philosophers, often spoke of the importance of preparing the mind for hardship. He advised practicing premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. This meant imagining potential difficulties in advance, not to cause worry, but to lessen their power when they actually arrive. When you expect obstacles, you are not surprised or defeated by them. Instead, you meet them with calm acceptance, ready to face whatever comes. In our modern world, resilience is more important than ever. We live in a society full of uncertainty, economic struggles, health concerns, personal challenges, and social pressures. It is easy to become overwhelmed, but by applying Stoic principles, we train ourselves to remain steady even when everything around us shakes. Stoicism teaches us not to run from difficulties, but to meet them with strength. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, obstacles are not walls blocking your progress. They are stepping stones guiding you toward growth. Another central idea in Stoicism is the pursuit of virtue. The Stoics believed that the ultimate goal of life is not pleasure, wealth, or fame, but virtue, living in harmony with reason, nature, and moral excellence. For Marcus Aurelius, virtue meant wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. These four cardinal virtues formed the foundation of Stoic thought. Wisdom is the ability to see the world clearly and make sound judgments. Courage is the strength to face fear, pain, or adversity with dignity. Justice is the practice of fairness, treating others with respect and integrity. And self-discipline is the control of desires and impulses, so that we live guided by principle, not by fleeting passions. Imagine how different the world would look if more people lived by these virtues. Conflicts would lessen, greed would fade, and individuals would focus on building rather than destroying. For the Stoics, the path to happiness was not through external success, but through the cultivation of virtue. Seneca put it beautifully, "The greatest wealth is a poverty of desires. When we need less, we live more." Stoicism also offers practical tools for everyday life. One of them is the practice of negative visualization. By imagining loss, whether of health, loved ones, or possessions, we learn to appreciate what we currently have. This is not meant to make us sad, but to open our eyes to the blessings we often overlook. How often do we take simple things for granted? A warm meal, the laughter of a friend, the beauty of a sunrise. Stoicism teaches us to notice these moments, to be grateful, and to cherish them before they slip away. Another Stoic practice is journaling. Marcus Aurelius wrote his private reflections not for an audience but for himself, to guide his mind and keep his heart steady. Today, we can do the same. Writing down your thoughts each day, your fears, your goals, your gratitude, helps bring clarity and calm. It is a way of holding a conversation with yourself, of becoming your own teacher and student at once. The Stoics also emphasized mindfulness, long before the term became popular. They taught us to remain present, to focus on this moment instead of being trapped by the past or consumed by the future. Epictetus advised, "Do not seek to have events happen as you want them to, but instead want them to happen as they do happen, and your life will go well." This mindset frees us from endless frustration. When we stop demanding that life unfold according to our expectations, we begin to accept reality as it is, and in that acceptance, we discover peace. Stoicism is not about suppressing emotions or becoming cold. Many misunderstand it as a philosophy of detachment, but this is not true. The Stoics felt deeply, grief, love, joy, pain, but they sought to master their emotions rather than be mastered by them. They understood that emotions are natural, but that reason should guide how we act upon them. For instance, anger may rise when we are wronged, but if we let anger control us, we destroy ourselves and our relationships. Stoicism teaches us to pause, reflect, and respond with wisdom instead of impulse. Let's imagine a modern example. Suppose you lose your job unexpectedly. Fear, anger, and despair may overwhelm you. But the Stoic approach would be to first remind yourself, "This is outside my control. What is within my control is how I respond." Instead of sinking into bitterness, you can view the setback as an opportunity to grow, to learn new skills, or to pursue a new path. As Marcus Aurelius said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Another Stoic lesson that resonates today is simplicity. In a consumer-driven world, we are constantly told that happiness comes from having more money, more possessions, more recognition. Yet the Stoics remind us that true contentment lies in needing less. Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." By simplifying our lives, by focusing on essentials and letting go of unnecessary desires, we create space for peace and joy. Friendship and community also held an important place in Stoicism. While Stoicism emphasizes individual responsibility, it also acknowledges our duty toward others. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "We are made for cooperation, like feet, like hands, like eyelids, like the rows of the upper and lower teeth. Life is not meant to be lived in isolation, but in connection. To live virtuously is not just to live for oneself, but to contribute to the well-being of society. This means practicing kindness, offering help, forgiving mistakes, and striving for justice." The Stoics were also clear about the reality of death. Rather than avoiding the thought, they embraced it as a natural part of life. Memento mori, remember that you must die, was a guiding principle. For them, remembering mortality was not morbid, but liberating. It reminded them that life is fleeting, and therefore every moment is precious. When we accept death, we stop wasting time on trivialities and start living fully. Marcus Aurelius reflected, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." Now let's bring these lessons into a modern setting. Imagine waking up each morning with Stoic clarity. You remind yourself that today will bring challenges, but your peace depends on your response. You choose gratitude for the simple gifts of life. You focus on what you can control and release what you cannot. You act with virtue, seeking wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline in each choice. You practice compassion toward others, knowing that we are all interconnected. And when difficulties arise, you meet them with calm resilience, seeing them not as barriers, but as paths to growth. This is the Stoic way of life, not a philosophy locked in books, but a living guide for everyday existence. It does not demand perfection. It asks only for practice. Each day is an opportunity to strengthen your mind, to discipline your heart, and to align your life with values that endure beyond time. As we conclude this ultimate Stoic guide, remember the words of Epictetus. "No man is free who is not master of himself. Freedom is not found in wealth, fame, or power. It is found in the mastery of your mind, the discipline of your soul, and the harmony of your actions with virtue." So, the next time life challenges you, pause and ask, what is within my control? How can I respond with wisdom? How can I live with courage, justice, and self-discipline? These questions are the compass of Stoicism. Follow them, and you will walk a path of strength, peace, and purpose, a path that leads not just to survival, but to true flourishing.